Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing a top 10 most worn spring and summer 2024 list. Tremendous. That is right, my friends. Today, I am back with another one of my seasonal lists. I do but two a year. One for spring and summer, one for autumn and winter. And since spring and summer 2024, not that there was a spring or summer 2024, but well, the less said about that, the better. Since it is now over, we can tally up how much I wore each fragrance, and we can see which fragrance I wore the most, and the ones I wore subsequently less of, And there is a top 10, a clear top 10 has emerged. I did say all spring and summer that I couldn't really think of what I'd worn the most of, and now that I see them lay before me, I'm surprised by the middle of the list. From about 4 all the way down to 10, really. I probably wouldn't have guessed, but the top 3, top 4, probably. I just didn't know they would be in that order. So let's start, shall we? Okay, at number 10. At number 10, we have a very special fragrance and a very expensive fragrance, according to eBay and the rest of the online sellers. This is Creed's Green Valley. I have determined that I am going to wear this and wear it well until it is gone. I'm not going to baby it because I think if I do, then it's probably going to go off. There's not a lot left in there. I did buy a partial. I'm not willing to spend $1,000 or £1,000 or any of that shit because it's not worth it. It's not worth that kind of money, friends. I'm not going to lie to you. It's nice. It's really good. It's green. It's got that black currant thing, It's got that incredible Creed sandalwood musk and Broxon dry down, which is just, oh God. It's just incredible. It really is. The dry downs of those old Creeds are absolutely stunning. And they've moved away from that, which is just madness to me. Just madness. That's the brand. They probably think they have to create new things and keep up with trends. So I wouldn't be allowing a company that I work for to make a decision to get rid of that kind of DNA. That is wild to me. But this is my Green Valley, and it was number 10. I knew I'd worn it. I didn't know it would make the list though. Okay, number 9, a fragrance that is no stranger to this list. One of my very favourites in all the world, and you will know it as soon as you see it. And this is Cartier's Roadster. I am a huge fan of the Roadster. This is mint, it is bergamot, it is patchouli, and those 3 notes combine to give a mint choc chip ice cream sort of feel. At the top, it smells like a crispy green apple because of the way the bergamot and the mint interact, but it's not. For the longest time, I thought this had apple in it, but in the dry down, it dries down to this lovely, creamy, minty, patchouli, creme de menthe, kind of with chocolatey aspects to it. I suspect the perfumer knew exactly what she was doing when she did this. Mathilde Laron. Discontinued now. They discontinued this when they discontinued the watch, which is a crying shame, in my opinion, an absolutely massive shame. But this is a brilliant, fresh green fragrance with a lot of character, which is sorely lacking from fragrances these days, in my opinion. Very discontinued, now extremely bloody pricey, which just makes absolutely no sense. I mean, it's so sad. They always get rid of the good ones, you know. But this is a green fragrance, but not in that kind of ye olde 1980s kind of way, you know. A former signature scent of mine as well, back in the 2000s, the late 2000s. And I'm very sad to see it gone. I would like to buy some backups of that. I've got one or two, but you can see by the amount I've worn that's probably not going to be enough. Like, okay, number 3. Number 3 shouldn't come as a surprise either. And this has got a major dent in it as well, you know. This has got a really huge dent in it. This is Dune pour Homme. This is not number 3, it's number 10, 9, 8. This is number 8 on my list. This is another discontinued designer fragrance. I think it was made by Olivia Cresp and maybe somebody else, but I can't remember who. This is Fig. This is Fig. It's blackcurrant, like green blackcurrant. It's got, I remember it has, is it fig wood or is it fig bark? Little bit of rose, lots of sandalwood, cedar wood in the base. Lasts on me all day. Fizzy fig. Imagine like lemonade, but instead of lemons, figs. That's kind of what it smells like to me. Oh, excuse me whilst I hydrate. This is a brilliant fragrance. And again, it's one of those designer fragrances, which is amazing, that's been discontinued. Outrageous. They always get rid of the good ones, friends. We know this about perfume brands, you know? Especially if you hang around on this part of YouTube, my part, you will hear me bitterly complaining about how they always discontinue the best ones. Oh dear. But this is a great fragrance. You can still pick it up for a decent price, you know. Fortunately, I have a backup or two of this. You can still pick this up at a good price, you know, even though it's discontinued. It's not one of those like super hyped ones. When the supply starts to get scarce, it will be hyped, friends. It will be hyped, very much so. Okay. Next up, we have a fragrance that is one of the top fragrances on my channel again. How strange, me wearing my favorite fragrances. This is what I always aimed for, and by God, if it isn't the consequences of my actions coming back to haunt me. This is Pavarotti, a fragrance I have hyped, and not because I want to sell it, not because I want to lord it over people, but because I love it. I love this fragrance. It smells like happiness to me. It smells like what I imagine Italy smells like, you know, in that kind of fantasy that everybody kind of has about Italy. To me, this is what it would smell like. It's fresh and petitgrain and lemon and bergamot at the top, and in the mid it's got this gorgeous sweet patchouli, geranium, floral, slightly woody heart, and then in the base it's obviously got a fat patchouli, a leather note, oak moss, resins, and a big honey. The honey note in this is stunning. And when I say a big honey, I don't mean like a big clumsy honey. I don't mean like a clunky kind of honey, you know, where it's like bang, but it's unmistakably honey. And it's beautiful. It smells sweet and fresh, and it's perfectly balanced, pitch perfect. It's a stunning piece of perfumery by David Appel, and he is now a teacher, a head teacher at one of the major schools of perfumery somewhere, you know. He's like a really like highly thought of perfumer. Didn't create that many perfumes that I'm aware of, but thank God he made this. So that was number 6 on my list. Number five. Number 5 is a perfume, once again, that is a favourite of the channel. And I've actually whipped out the bottle of this because the bottle that I actually use is like a decanter. It's like one of these, you see. And this is Iquitos by Alain Delon, the recently deceased Alain Delon. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. This is a quote-unquote failed submission for Dior Poison. This could have been Dior Poison. But they rejected it and went with the submission that you smell today instead. And it became a huge hit. But this was far too good to not utilise. And Alain Delon recognised that, and thank God he did. This is one of the great fragrances. I think it was made by Gerard Anthony, wasn't it? Yes, Gerard Anthony, one of my favourite perfumers. He's made like 3 of my favourite perfumes, maybe more, including Balenciaga Pour Homme, my favourite of all time. This is slightly fruity at the top. It's got that nutmeg. It's very, very classic and vintage in its structure. I think is it a chypre? I want to say it is a chypre, but it's got a lot of strength to it, you know. Nutmeg, rose, big aldehydes, jasmine, iris. The iris, I've started to notice the iris in this a lot more. Honey, that was a big feature in a lot of old perfumes. Civet, there's a big civet in this which provides like this kind of warmth and heat to the perfume. Sandalwood, castoreum, oak moss, leather, patchouli, vetiver, all that good stuff. An absolutely remarkable perfume, which, I mean, it could have been... the actual perfume inside the bottle could have been, or was worthy of being released by any house for any perfume. But Alain Delon grabbed it, and thank God. The only problem is that it hasn't had more exposure, and they didn't make more bottles of it, and now the prices are getting a bit out of hand out there, you know. But it is a top quality perfume, and one of my very favourites. Okay. Top 5 now. Number 5. Number 5 is a perfume I bought last year and one of my top finds of last year. And I've put a healthy little dent in it. I've used about 10 to 15 mil of it. It's beautiful. And this is Cologne Officinale by Healey. Healey is one of the most underrated houses in the world of perfume today. The prices are extremely reasonable, and he doesn't send out free bottles, which is why you never hear about him, but he deserves people to talk about him because the quality of the perfumes is brilliant. The quality of the perfumes is brilliant. And I have Montfresh as well. I've smelled some of the other ones, but none that I could offer any thoughts on. I do have a sample set, which may or may not be coming next because I've just finished the 80s de Venusta series. So I might get stuck into Healey's, and I'm really excited to do that as well. A brilliant perfumer. All the perfumes make sense. There's no, to my knowledge, there's no kind of stupid following of trends. This perfume in particular smells like high-end French soap. That's what it smells like. It smells like really like 5-star hotel quality soap, you know. I have scratched this label to an outrageous degree, but you can see how much I've used of it. I don't know if you can see the fill level there. It's just below where the label is. I've used a lot of this. There's basil, galbanum, rosemary, oak moss, lavender, all the good stuff. A little bit ambery, lasts for about 6-7 hours. It smells like you've just had a wash. And you smell really clean. It's very dry. It's really good in the heat because it's very dry. It's got that martini white wine kind of thing going on, you know. This is an absolutely fantastic release and shows that you can still release high quality perfumes in 2023, 2024, you know? It's houses like this that give me hope that I don't just have to scour the internet constantly to find perfumes that aren't shit, you know? It's a brilliant, brilliant perfume. Okay, number 4. Number 4, is this a surprise? I didn't think I'd worn this as much as I had when I checked, but apparently I have worn this as much as I have. And I have a backup bottle of this. I really like it. I've heard mixed reports, especially from Pradeep. He doesn't like this, but I love it. This is Nexon by Tower. This is very limited, only 1,000 bottles made. Absolutely gorgeous, this. Big creamy geranium perfume, you know. Fresh, but creamy, a little bit woody. There's lots of iris in there, vetiver. The top is absolutely stunning because it's got this little twinkle of like a bergamot lemon kind of thing at the top. And then you're straight into this geranium, iris, vetiver, creamy, green kind of thing. And then it's got this ambergris which props it all up, which is absolutely amazing. It's a stunning scent. I love the bottle. I love the all white bottle. It's got something of Koros about it, hasn't it? But it's amazing that I found a perfume that smells a little bit like it actually, which is called Pelargonium by Aedes Divinustis, and I really like that. So if I ever run out, I think I will maybe buy a bottle of that, because people are trying to sell this on eBay. You know what people are like, especially when it comes to what do you call it, limited edition perfumes. This bottle is number 939 of 1,000. So, yay. That is Nexon by Tower, another one of my favourite releases from last year. Okay, top 3. Number 5. This shouldn't come as a surprise. But it was, I suppose it crept up on us. I wouldn't say I was surprised. I was like, oh yeah. And I do wear a lot of this. And again, there's a huge dent in it because I wear my perfumes, you know. And this is Homme de Gres by Gres, believe it or not. A Gerard Anthony perfume again. Homme de Gres, Iquitos, Balenciaga, Pour Homme, Azzaro, Pour Homme. It's like everything is released. It's fucking incredible. This is again basil, lemon, petitgrain, neroli, jasmine, benzoin, labdanum, oak moss, bergamot, sandalwood. It's just a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant perfume. These are still out there somewhere lurking. They're under 100 quid. This is a 75ml. I've got 125ml and a few 75ml bottles left. I love them because they're very ergonomic. When you pick this up and you spray it, it's got a good sprayer. When you pick it up, you spray it, the bottle feels good in your hand. Everything about it is just, oh, that is so good. And the oak moss in it's a little bit smoky as well, and I do like a smoke moss. I like a smoke moss perfume. It's very, very, very high quality. And to me, it smells like the right perfume at the wrong time. If they'd released this 10 years early, maybe it's even 20 years earlier. It's got a smell of Chanel's Pour Monsieur about it. It's in that kind of vein. I prefer it, much prefer it. This, that is, to Chanel Pour Monsieur, EDT anyway. So, a beautiful, beautiful perfume. Performance is huge as well. The oak moss just keeps it right up there, pushing forever. And the top 2, I don't think you'll be surprised at the top 2. Because once you see them, you will know. Okay, this This bottle, number 2, is Paddock. Paddock by Hermes, a very limited release in April. I got it, excuse me whilst I hydrate, and I loved it straight away. Very interesting. It's got hay. It's got amber. There's some greenness in there. There's carrot seeds, a little bit irisy, but I get like a honeyed hay and a meadow kind of vibe to it. There's also supposed to be like a vibe of manure in there, but I get more of like a chestnut. There's a dark brown kind of smell, you know, but I get more chestnut than I do manure. A lot of people have spoken about it. A lot of people have talked about it. They've been quite like, oh, not sure, but I love this. There's a huge dent in this bottle. I will not be decanting any more for people, but I did send a lot of people a smell of it so they could try it and experience it because it was so limited, which was stupid. I wanted more than one bottle, but that you can't find them. Never mind paying silly prices for them. You just can't find them. This was 300 quid. I hope they re-release it. Maybe it's in the Hermes Essence line. I would buy another one if I could. I love it. I love it. A really interesting release. And last but not least, friends, my number 1 most worn fragrance, is no surprise to me, was Orangère Sirocco, the latest perfume released by Les Indemodables, notwithstanding the new Vanille Havane Oud, which hasn't actually been released yet. This was released in the summer. You can see I've already put a big dent in it. I actually really, really like this stuff. As you can see, and I've really enjoyed wearing it. Now, strangely enough, I don't think this is one of their best perfumes. I don't think it's one of their best compositions. To me, it smells like orange blossom, a little bit of cinnamon. It's supposed to have a massive, incredible cinnamon note in it, and I just don't get it. But then it dries down to a huge ambroxan note. I really like it for what it is. I don't know if I'll be replacing it. I love the smell. It's the closest thing they've released to a designer perfume. Patchouli Noisette's probably the closest thing they've released to a Middle Eastern perfume. I hope that they start releasing more stuff like what they used to in future. And that is it, my friends. This has been my top 10 most worn spring and summer 2024 video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.